Hello and welcome to this new episode of Open Book Entrepreneur. Today we have Ian Mayer here with us all the way from Los Angeles, California, and he's actually running a company that does home inspections. So, Ian, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Uh, thank you, Tony, for having me. Yeah, my name is Ian Mayer. I run a company called I Am Home Inspections in Los Angeles, California, over here in the USA. Been running the company for 11 years. I've been in real estate related jobs for about 20 years. And now we have a staff of 7 inspectors and 5 people in the back end and a marketing rep and
Wonderful.
doing
And what inspired you to start this line of business, to get into this line of business?
well. It's kind of a long story, I think, as most stories are, but I got in and originally moved to Los Angeles from San Francisco, because I was going to be a drummer in a rock band and I was going to, make it big in the music business. And that, of course, business is very difficult. And from there, but I did have I got a college degree in finance. And from there, I met someone who was like, "Oh, my company's looking for someone who has that kind of background." And it was a wholesale mortgage company. And so I got a job there, partially because the guy who interviewed me was also a frustrated musician. So we kind of connected and bonded over that. And then I fell in love with everything real estate. I was like, well, it was weird. I'd never really thought about real estate as a career, but once I got into it, I just fell in love with everything about it. So I worked there for a while, and then we had the recession of 2008. Um, but along the way, my wife had I bought our first house, and it was 4 walls and a foundation. It needed everything. We would literally get up in the middle of the night and move buckets when it rained because the roof leaked so bad.
Wow.
But we eventually fixed up the house, and we'd had a home inspection when we bought the house. I'm like, that guy's got a cool job. And then we eventually moved, and then we had another home inspection. I'm like, wow, that guy's got a really cool job. I think I could do that one day because it just really seems to draw in my natural instinct to find problems.
Yeah.
We're good at finding problems, and a lot of jobs, they don't like you to point out problems. They want you to be yes man, and I've always been like the problem man. But this wholesale mortgage company, they liked that because I was always finding out problems in the processes and systems for them. And so I thought about it, and I was like, oh, I really want to do this someday. But then, like I said, the 2008, 2009 economic crisis happened. That job fell apart. My mom passed away right before that. And then right after that, my wife got pregnant with her first child. And I was like, I can't start a business right now. And, in retrospect, I wish I just had, um, or at least got it going. So I did some other things and I got another job that I didn't really like. And then one day I walked into the office and they're like, oh, well, the company's relocating to another state. Bye. And I'm
That's
just kind of
it.
like, what do I do now? And I'm like, okay, at this point we have 2 kids, a wife, a mortgage. And not only do I not have a job, I don't even really have a career. Like, because the last few years I've just been working a job that had nothing to do with real estate, nothing to do with anything else on my resume, nothing to do with what I went to school for. And I'm looking at my resume, and half the companies on my resume are out of business. They've been bought or sold or just went under. I'm just like, if I get another job, it's just gonna be the same situation. I'm gonna have to come in at the bottom, low pay, work my way up, and then I'll probably just get laid off again in another 5 or 10 years. And do I really want to be, 50 something and laid off? Uh, so I was like, no, I need to start my own business. And so the home inspection thing had been in the back of my head for, at this point for years. And, my wife just told me one day, you should just do that. You should just go for it, make it happen. And I looked online and there just happened to be some classes coming up. Uh, Great timing. And so I was like, all right. So I signed up for the classes and learned how to do the inspections and the processes and writing reports and just said, all right, I'm all in. A lot of people say, well, How do you know when to leave your W-2 or your regular job to start on your own? I'm like, I had no choice because I was out of a job. So I just
Yeah, yeah,
dove
yeah.
in first.
And that's how you started. And have you started working for yourself immediately, or you work for someone else, or what happened then?
I just started for myself. I said I wasn't going to put myself in a position where I could get laid off again.
Hmm.
I just wasn't going to work for anyone else ever.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's a good point. So, and so you started working for yourself, and obviously, like started growing your business, and then when did you hire first people, first sort of employees and stuff?
That actually came 5 years later. For the first 5 years, I was just very content to be myself. I was just like, I have a wife, I got two little kids. I just need to pay the mortgage. I just need to put food on the table. And, people say, "Why should you hire?" I'm like, I don't know. I've got little kids at home. I don't need more. And now, in retrospect, that was a big mistake. But my mindset at that point was just survival because I needed to just survive.
Yeah.
But then 5 years later, I'm underneath a house in what we call the crawl space. I'm totally dirty, so I'm like wearing coveralls and a respirator, and I'm coming out of here, and I'm going, wait a minute. I've just been working and working and working, and my app that tracks my job says I'm having my best year ever, but my bank account's got big zeros in it. And my son's birthday was coming up. His birthday is 4 days after Christmas. So I was just like, and I have no money in my bank account. And I'm just like, well, this is not right. I can't go on. I can't work this hard to only just pay the mortgage and buy food and not have any money to buy my son anything. So that's when I realized, no, I needed to start hiring people. Um, and it was weird because I'd never really hired anybody before. I've never really been a manager anywhere before. I've never really had people under me before. So to me, it was all brand new. It was a learning process. I hired my neighbor to answer phones. That was my first hire. She still works for me today, to this day, 6 years later. And then I hired my first inspector a couple days after that. Um, and we're still friends. So
Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, excellent. So basically, like, yeah, it took you a long time, but then at the end, you managed to actually build up the business so that other people can actually support it, even if you're
yes.
maybe not there, if you're on holidays, if you're training, if you're doing something else strategically. And what's one piece of advice you would give to someone listening to us that is entrepreneur, but it's just like in the process of like starting the business?
Mhm. Um, I think first you have to, read some books. I mean, The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. I mean, that really sort of explained it. I hated that book when I first read it
Yeah, I read
because,
it. I read it as well, and yeah, I agree. Okay. Yeah.
well, I hated it at first because then I realized later because he's holding up a mirror to me. Like he's telling me everything that's wrong with my business, and I didn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Once I realized, like, no, he's telling me the truth. That's when I started to go, oh, okay. I think the biggest, um, if you're already in business, the biggest mindset shift is, well, no one's going to do it as well as me. I just remember being in an attic going, well, no one's going to inspect this attic as well as I do. No one's going to put the care into it that I do. And then you got to step back and realize, like, well, there's a point in time when I didn't know what I was doing.
Hmm.
I learned all this, so who's to say someone else couldn't learn it? And also, there's hundreds and thousands of people doing the same job all across the country in other parts of the world. So if they can do it, who says I can't hire someone to do it?
True,
So I
true.
think
Such a
that's
big.
the big mindset is you got to get over like, no, other people can learn how to do this.
Mhm.
We're not all the experts we think we are.
Well, I mean, it's true, yeah, but it's also one of the big sort of challenges and one of the big reasons why so many people actually stay on the level of small business, instead of
Hmm.
growing and stuff. Yeah, like once this happens, once you can break through this, yeah, then you can grow as a business as well. Absolutely. So, what's your goal for your business for next 12 months?
For the next 12 months, to keep scaling and growing. Right now, I have 7 inspectors, so we're covering most of LA County and parts of Ventura County. So I need at least one, maybe two more LA-based inspectors to kind of cover the southeast part of the county, and then maybe another Ventura-based inspector. Um, and then yeah, my goals at this point are like, okay, now the company pays for my mortgage, pays for food. Now it needs to start paying for my future retirement. So I need to grow the company so that it's making enough income so that I can one day, retire, travel, spend time with my wife.
Definitely, yeah. So that's the plan for business, and then obviously, if someone wants to actually get in touch with you, learn more about you, or connect to you, how they can do that?
Yeah, the website is imhomeinspections.com. That's the letter I, letter M, homeinspections.com. We're on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, all under I am home inspections. I think a TikTok is I am underscore home underscore inspections. And then if you're interested in my little speaking gigs for small business and real estate, I also have another website that's just ianwmayer.com, IANWMAYER.com. And then you can call the office at 818-298-3405.
Great stuff. Yeah, thank you so much, Ian, for being a guest today and sharing your story. We didn't have time to actually touch base on this speaking business, but yeah, maybe we can record another episode, in the future. So
Okay.
definitely, thank you all for watching and listening. If you liked it, drop us a like. If you have any questions for Ian or me, you can drop them down in the comments, and we'll be more than happy to answer them. And see you all in the next episode. All the best, and bye bye.